Tabula rasa. Restructure, jumping into the void. Time shift, short and concise. I am back, a bit different though. I have done and still am doing a lot of reflection. At times when I withdraw, I can see a big picture and then wait for the right time to act, respond, and share. It is clear that the timelines have shifted, as has my attention. The way I will spend my energy, my chi, prana, breath, is only focused on what can be regenerative, which means vessels that are not ready to receive will not benefit from the encounter, for they won't be able to realize, see, feel, or sense anything missing, so no need to sweat it. If you're still here reading, there must be something about our relationship that still calls for your attention. So thank you. Revolving cycles. At the end of last summer, I made a commitment to myself, and it has started to bear fruit already. As I enter another cycle in the spiral, I felt I was evolving in the manner in which I related to my needs. After all, the lunar nodes made certain I will focus on the Taurus side of the action, while the Scorpio end was confronting and shedding. I hate stereotypes. The moment I sense a definition, my impulse is to fly away, to dismiss it. And yet, last September, due to unforeseen events, I jumped on the boat of why not? Why not try what gives me more fear? Yeah, the invitation was coming from a place of full light, but I need to trust my instincts and intuition inside the threshold. To be certain of one thing only, I will not create expectations, yet I will work with deep felt intentions. And what are those, Monica dear? You're starting to sound cryptic. Well, let me unpack. I look back at all the so called crazy things I did in my life that led me here, and all of them, each one of them, have some things in common: courage, curiosity, wit, endurance, transformation, self inquiry, perseverance in research, learning, and education, and knowing when cycles have ended. Hereditary responsibilities. Help your siblings, hold their hands, show them how. Yield to their needs. You are faster and smarter. Blah, 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 blah. I've been taking on responsibilities that were not mine. Many of them I inherit without asking or jumped into, because I knew what was needed due to conditioning I did not know I had. At least that was what I was made to believe. The way I was conditioned was that because I can and I'm able, I must take care of others. No. Close your eyes and imagine two puppet hands near your face. One says, I want. The other screams, I need. Well, these hands come at me for me at all times, and I know I have choice to engage or not. I know that now. The codependent cycle explained by my astrology. That was the codependent cycle right there. There is a repeating theme of lack of boundaries, emotional nonetheless, and the willingness to learn to discern how to relate to others, including intimately, so I can be individuated and become free from attachments, addictions, and codependent relationships with people, situations, and things. I learned to say a hard no. Another aspect is my relationship values, which are supporting my creative, joyful, colorful outtakes and my lust for life, with awareness, smells, textures, and beauty all around. The path from traumatic past lives while connecting to peers was not equal. I feel at times I could have been a tyrant, leading to betrayals and emotional, mental, and even physically disassociation as a protective response. Having dealt with trauma diligently, I turned the current direction towards a creative and emotional liberation, which is 2/3 of the way by now. I am intense, I know it, and the emotional path is the destination. So having learned how to operate with all emotional authority has been major. Emotions are waves, and they have amplitude and magnitude. They operate like sound, and their frequency can be adjusted by tuning in or out of certain vibrational schemes. How does X, Y, or Z make me feel? This is always a key question for me. Here I am in this life taking care of the way I relate to myself first, informing how this gives me leverage to relate to others. And last but not least, how can I contribute to a community? My outlook is that I am very driven, and my intensity and commitment are energized by my curiosity to educate myself and inspire others. Writing flows, and so do the images. It is in the synthesis that the amalgam where I thrive. Then I have a little image that I made. It says, one is never forced to do anything unless one submits to the will of others due to fear. A hard no leads to sovereignty. Learn how to. The hands of needs and wants, noise versus signal. I have a radar to know what is needed and wanted. Does that mean I have to supply it? Perhaps, only if it feels correct to engage in a situation where the other vessel is accountable and willing to commit herself. Then, and only then, I can open up a channel to be extremely caring. Now that I have detached from those pesky hands, I have so much time left for what? Exploration. These past weeks, when the noise was off, I could listen to the signal. I have committed to a couple of challenging yet exciting practices which connect and keep being supportive of my expansive aura, which is intimidating by many. Somehow, being an initiator and manifestor comes with some pain and lots of goodies. Commitments. A dot connects to a line, and another line creates dimensions. The sound of almost unperceived frequency generates a sign line that validates concrete matters. Emotions can be shaped into forms, and words may acquire utility down the line. I am being cryptic for a reason. The concept of investigating the universe which you're in without investigating the self is a flaw. Nassim Haramein. Tabula rasa, pinakisa graphos, virtues are my support system. Is it all brand new? Not really. But every time I close a big cycle, it feels like that. After all, it has been 3 years since I ran away from New York City, took the helmet off that had shaped me, and moved to the Sunshine State where I live barefoot. When I think of the ways I was able to fulfill my dreams, I know that the trinity of intention, attention, and presence was the most solid of them all. I abide by a virtue per year, making it a meditation for its duration. Back in 2019, I started with the virtue of being kind to myself, kindness. To notate how I would address my inner chatter, I started with something simple, a muscle that gave me strength, smiling when alone, and thus I was in automatic kindness mode towards others. This led me to gratitude in 2020. Even before lockdown, I was grateful for the exuberance of the kindness I felt. Increased gratitude focused my attention to the present moment and surrendering to what is, and the capacity to be joyful about it. 2021 arrived and my life was already showing signs of metamorphosis. Thus, humility would be the virtue that I encounter by accepting that which I did not know yet and by not faking it anymore. I learned to ask questions and allowed the space for learning completely new things and venturing into new territories. As 2022 arrived, I chose honesty, which taught me to stay in the course of objectivity when needed and allow the interpretation of being mindful of distorted elements which may arise in relational values when emotional needs are yet to be met. This year has been about generosity, thriving in well-being, and inspiring others to reconnect to the abundance that is inherent in the spirit. I have also been focused on treating trauma and getting educated on how to relate wholesomely with my needs as well as those needs in close relationships and communities I interact with. At this point of this beautiful journey, these virtues are a solid supportive structure that I can connect to at any time. I feel good. So I'm leaving you the preferred soundtrack is Tabula Rasa by none other than Arvo Pärt. Then there's another image that I created. It says sound is breath, Nepma Spiritus. Inquiries. Are you ready to jump into the void so you can trust the way you relate to your needs? What are your intentions for the next 18.6 months? Long, mid, and short term. How do they feel? Staying with the feeling. For instance, freedom is major for me. I already feel and behave as if I am free from all kinds of burdens. X, Y, and Z. Another image is how does it feel to provide the confetti effect on others from my perspective? And then there's a big, huge smile. AI. It's against my programming to impersonate a deity. CP3PO. About the AI article I was writing about, it is still cooking. In fact, it was that rabbit hole that led me to take a break and enjoy natural life. So it will come soon, unannounced. Then I give you two links to notes where I have very abstract connections to the stars. I'm going to read the footnotes of the astrology. No, actually, I'm just going to leave it there for you to find out. Thank you very much. I'm excited about new stuff that I'm taking on. In time, I will let you know what that is. Take care. Bye-bye.